Today I'm going to be talking to you about AI and conversational assistants. I've been in the space for a long time. My first conversational assistant was some 27 years ago, and I've been working along the way. I was a co-founder of Siri, which was the startup company that sold to Apple, and I worked at Apple a few years. I then started Viv Labs, bringing you a next generation assistant that's really built on an open ecosystem. And that's been acquired by Samsung, where I now work. So what I'm going to do with this talk is give you my views about where the AI assistant is today and the opportunities in the space. I'm then going to show you where to get the most advanced third-party accessible tools for building AI assistants within an ecosystem through Bixby. And then I'm going to do a live demo and teach you in 5 minutes how to build a pretty sophisticated conversational interface to your content or data or services. So I've been in this space for a while, as I mentioned, and I've noticed every 10 years, the way people interact with computers changes. So in the 80s, it was all about the desktop and a mouse and Windows, and every user had to learn how to use those things. Just about 10 years later, the web emerged, and it was about hyperlinks and back buttons and URLs, a whole new interface paradigm. And then about 10 years later after that, 10, 12 years later, came mobile and apps. And if you've been counting, last year was, I think, the 10th or 11th anniversary of the App Store. So many have been asking, is there a new interface paradigm as important as the web and mobile that could emerge, and if so, what is it? Obviously, I've tipped my hand. I and many other companies think that the assistant, if done right, the intelligent assistant, can actually be a paradigm as powerful as the web and mobile. So I know what you're thinking. You're going to say, why do I need another paradigm? I'm happy with the paradigms I've got. I've got plenty of them. But if you think about it, each paradigm extends computing in a new place. So when we started out with the PC, we had to sit at our desk programming with software on our computer. The web let us compute using software from around the world. And then mobile let us detach from our desks and compute on a park bench, or maybe walking down a street bumping into people, hopefully not. But you could now do computing on the go. And why would we need a new paradigm? Well, believe it or not, there are still moments, contexts, where a web browser and a smartphone are not appropriate. So if you're perhaps jogging with your smartwatch, if you're driving in your car, even if you have a big, beautiful Tesla screen or something, I hope you're not looking at it. You need to be focused on the road. If you're in your house interacting with your family, maybe you're cooking or cleaning or what have you, web browsers and smartphones aren't appropriate. But if you have an assistant who can understand you and help you get tasks done while you're doing these things, and many more contexts, maybe you're watching TV, maybe you're just interacting with people in a social setting. If you have an assistant who can understand you and interact with you and help you get things done, that extends, again, computing to moments where you can't really participate with the current paradigms. So I've been in this a long time. I've started 2 of the major assistants on the market. I will be the first to say that the AI assistant is not as powerful as the web or mobile today. Today, people use assistants. There are billions of requests that flow through assistants every day, like Siri, Alexa, Bixby, and others. But they usually use them for a few things. Set a timer, play a song, and certainly not for everything you can do on the web and mobile. So the question is, why not? Why hasn't the assistant paradigm to date emerged? And we've broken it down into 4 reasons. And we believe the first company that really masters all 4 of these criteria will be the one to elevate the assistant from just a utility, which it is today, all the way up to paradigm level importance. So the first thing is, assistant to me and to most end users should be one assistant. Well, what does that mean? Today, we have systems like Alexa or Google Assistant or others where you can say, Alexa, what's the weather, set a timer, but if you want to interact with a third party, the interface is completely different. And you have to now say, Alexa, ask app 7 to do command 5. Now, an end user cannot remember hundreds of thousands of possible services, their command names, their separate command languages. It's just too much cognitive load. What we see this being is that an assistant should be one assistant who can interact with all of the brands and content and services out there, but does this in a very consistent way and helps you mediate through that experience, consistently empowering users. So for instance, if you say, Bixby, this is, find restaurants near my house, it might say the first time, where do you live? Do you want me to remember that? And if I say yes, if I ask any other request, Bixby, find movies near my house, it should know what I mean. One assistant. That is not the case today. Second, for us, assistants should be available across all of your devices. One assistant across your devices. So again, I don't want to have to think, what does the refrigerator assistant know about me? Did I tell the car assistant this? No, I want to be able to say, Bixby, here's what I want, no matter what device I'm talking to it through. Now, device is an important context. If you ask a speaker, what's going on tonight, maybe it should tell you concerts around you. If I'm talking to Bixby through a TV, say what's going on tonight, it might tell me TV shows. So context matters, but it's the same assistant accessible through a device as a channel. Number 3, powered by every service. So I made reference that today there are these built-in services which are often negotiated by the big companies, and they have a different experience than the ecosystem of third parties. And also, the services, those built-in services being built by engineers at the big companies, they are not using the same tools and platforms that they give to third parties. So in our view, this ecosystem needs to level the playing field. We need to give you the exact same tools and sophisticated platform that we use every day to build any Samsung-related service. And so you should be able to do just about everything that can be done internally at a Samsung service. And you should be able to compete on a level playing field for discovery, for ease of interaction, for experience, against not only your competitors, but against any service that we deploy. We should have no special case advantage over any third-party developer. And number 4, we think assistants should be personalized just for you. What should be more personal than a personal assistant? That is not the case today. If you have a Siri or an Alexa or a Google Assistant, it's the same assistant for every user out there. There's very little configuration of which brands you trust and use and services. I really envision a world where you really get to build the assistant you have, very much like when you have a smartphone, you download the apps. That surface area of what you can do in mobile is defined by the app space that you've defined. And for me, an assistant should be just the same way. You have brands that you know and trust, and you want to be able to interact with them seamlessly. And what I can say and do, what you say and do, are going to be quite different because we have different interests, different capabilities, different brands that we use. So that's the big picture. Now let me get a little bit behind the scenes about how we're doing it. We're going to give you tools in a platform that are unlike, I think, any development environment you've ever seen before. It's a big statement, but give me a moment. Most development experiences today are what I call human-driven. So the relationship between a human programmer and the machine is the programmer says, here are the instructions, machine, you execute them. I tell you what to do, period. And that's the relationship, human-driven. Now, AI came along, and with AI and machine learning, it was really a different paradigm. The human would say, here are examples of what I want. So if I give you this input, this is what I want output. If I give you this input, here's the output that I want. And the machine would build the logic, would write the program, if you will, on how to produce all of that logic to create that function that maps from the inputs to the outputs. That's deep neural nets and most forms of machine learning. But the programs written by the machine are really millions and trillions of numbers arranged in networks that no human programmer will ever be able to comprehend truly. So very AI-driven. So the approach that we've taken for our platform and our tools is it's a symbiosis between a human developer and an AI developer. The human does what he or she does best. The AI program does what they do best. And you're going to see that humans are great at knowing what to build. And AI, in limited constraints, but quite powerful ways, can actually figure out the how it should be written. So in this form, a human will define a use case at a very high level, and an AI will produce the program that will interact, all the business logic that will integrate multiple sources, that will interact from the user, that will learn from those interactions and stop asking the user same questions. All of that is built into the AI platform that you create. Your job is to define structure and content and use cases. And you'll see that in just a moment. So that's our philosophy. What we've done is we've taken that high-level philosophy of what an assistant should be and a technical underpinning around this co-evolution of code between human and AI. And we've created an assistant called Bixby. Bixby is available today on many, many types of devices by Samsung. I'll talk about that more, but let me give you a feeling for what the Bixby experience is like. First of all, you can push a button or just say, "Hi, Bixby," and ask for what you want. What are the top events here in Los Angeles tonight? You get back results, and it's not just 50 results unordered. The system will try to, with the developer's help, curate just the best responses. So it will give you what we call highlights, or used to call smart picks, which says if you ask for a concert, let me choose out of the list a few that might help you enable what you're looking for much faster than just rolling, but tell you why. Here's the most popular event. Here are events trending near you. Here's one I've learned from your preferences. And then finally, the platform doesn't just return answers to questions. Here are concerts. They will Bixby will actually help you get the job done. And it's the lowest friction way to accomplish tasks that I know. Literally, you say, "Get me 2 tickets to Hamilton." It'll say, what time or what date do you want? Do you want the usual price range? And boom, it knows your credit card if you've entered it previously, and you can have that access across any Bixby transactional service. And with just a few clicks, you can either browse or discover. With a few asks, you can complete transactions all in a very seamless, beautiful multimodal interface that helps you get the job done. So I'll give you just a quick video demonstration of Bixby if you haven't seen it, just to give you a feel. What you should look for in this video is know that it's not any particular interface, it's the style of interface, and you will be able to create this in just a moment yourself for your content or services with using our development tools.
Welcome to the new Bixby. Bixby is an assistant that can help you get things done based upon services. These services are extendable and configurable using a marketplace. Let's look up some information using Bixby. Will it be warmer than 60 degrees near the Golden Gate Bridge the day after tomorrow? Great, I've got some great weather information. Find me a pasta recipe with shrimp and asparagus for 4 people. And I can see my recipe, the ingredients here, and preparation steps. That looks great. Bixby can also be used to accomplish tasks such as making reservations, buying tickets, booking a ride, and more. Find a French restaurant in San Francisco. And Bixby has highlighted certain picks based upon what is learned about my preferences. If you want to see more results, you can simply scroll down. But, you know, instead of French, I feel like Italian. Make a reservation for 2 people at an Italian restaurant instead. And I can see several Italian restaurants. Siena Bistro. That sounds good. Reserve this one. And I go ahead and make that reservation.
So for lack of time, I'll stop here, but you get the idea. It's multimodal, it's conversational. And one thing about Bixby is Samsung has an install base of 1 billion devices. Today, Bixby is available not only on smartphones, but on TVs, on refrigerators, on tablets. Samsung acquired Harman, which is the #1 speaker company and car infotainment company. So Samsung is progressively rolling Bixby out to devices all around Samsung, and they've made a verbal commitment to open Bixby beyond Samsung devices. So we're doing it in stages. First, we need to get comfortable within the Samsung ecosystem. But when you build a Bixby capsule, you can deploy it to an ecosystem that will soon be able to access many, many, many hundreds of millions of Samsung devices, and hopefully soon beyond. So cool. Now you know about the opportunity. Bixby is the most sophisticated transactional and content-oriented assistant on the market. It's available on hundreds of millions of devices. And if you want to build for it, you just go to bixby.developer.samsung.com. When you get there, you can download the Bixby. You go to the Bixby Developer Center. It's actually an old picture. This is what it looks like. Today, we support Windows, Mac, and Linux. We have GitHub repositories, video tutorials, reference guides, all freely available. And when you download the Bixby Developer Studio, you will get a developer tool that looks like this. So with my remaining 5 minutes, what I'm going to do is show you how rich and powerful the platform is, give you a hint of that anyway, and how easy it is to build a capsule for Bixby. So what I'm going to do, when you start Bixby, capsule is what we call, Alexa calls a skill, or Google calls an action. You can create a new capsule from scratch, you can open an existing capsule, or you can create capsules from templates. And there are a number of different templates for podcasts or for jokes or facts. The one I'm going to use is super powerful. It's called the import and search template, and it will let you pull data from any structured source. So initially, that source will be represented in a CSV file. So for this example, I'm going to build a flight search capsule, and in it I have 3 different tables. Now this data will give the structure, and the CSV will give the structure. Ultimately, I'd want to hook it up to a live API and not just have a little sample data, but that's easy to do in Bixby. So we have a list of flights with things like you've got a flight code, a carrier code, there's an origin and destination airport, a price, time. There are a second table, which is the list of airports that we know about. In this data set, only just a couple. And there are carriers like Delta Airlines or United Airlines with a logo and a name. So with those 3 sources, I'm going to say, create a new capsule in English. We support multiple languages. And I'm going to upload that structure. Let's upload our list of flights. And each row is going to be called flight. Now I'll load a second table, the carrier table. And each row will be called carrier. And the last table I'll import will be the airports table. Then I give my capsule a name, and I usually have a namespace. If I were working for a company, I'd say Samsung or whatever your company name is. I'm going to just start with playground until I publish my team and define my company. So let's call it flight search. I hit the generate button. And just like that, using the structure from my data, Bixby template has built an entire capsule for me. Now in it, there are all the models. So in Bixby, you have concepts and actions. A concept is really just an object. So of course, we have things like flights with a list of properties. Each one have types. Some of them will have min and max, like there can only be at most one carrier, for instance. And then there are actions, so you'll be able to find flights, find carriers, find airports. And now that it knows the structure, I'm going to go define my use cases using the natural language training tool. So I'll drill into English, US English. It's already generated 3 simple examples just based on my table. Show all flights, show all carriers, and I can run it in a simulator immediately. Show all airports, I just hit the run button in simulator. Pop this up, this is a phone simulator I can change to watch or other things. And here I will see a list of all airports it knows about, I can drill in it. I didn't have to write any code. Already I can find all carriers or flights. But now it gets interesting. I can actually define simple or complex use cases by English. So let me see, what would I want out of this collection of tables? Maybe find United flights from San Francisco to New York for less than $800. And so the goal is I need to define what am I looking for? I'm looking for an object of type flight. That's the goal I'm trying to get to. And now I need to annotate the top level input. So United is going to be a carrier name. That's the column name in my spreadsheet. New York is going to be, I could label it as a city, but I can be more general by using geo.search. That way, if I wanted to say near the Eiffel Tower or near France or what have you, it will know all of the ways I can refer to geo. And let's see, so $800, the value, it's a type currency code, a currency value, money.currency value. The $ is actually the prefix code, money.prefix symbol for what kind of money it is. And now I specify just a few roles. You can see a program is being written automatically by an AI. So what I'm going to say here is the role is on this currency, it's actually going to be the max price column that was generated because I have a price in my spreadsheet. And San Francisco, the role, this is going to be the origin. That was also in my spreadsheet. Origin. And when I say to, that's going to mean destination. So you can see what I've been doing is I've expressed natural language. I've given the high-level goal I wanted and indicated a few of the types and the roles. And right like that, now I've created a system where it has written the use case, the program for me on how this is going to work. It's going to integrate 3 different tables. It's now interacting with the user. You said United flights. There are 2 airlines match United. Did you mean United Airlines or United Arab Emirates? When I answer the question, if I do so consistently, it will automatically learn from that and stop asking me the question because it's an AI that's created the request. And here I have the query to the table. You can bring up a debugger. We have very rich tools that will show you every single thing, every step. This has all been created for me. I can see the dialogues that have been generated and change them if I want, the layouts that have been generated, and I can adapt the user experience if I like. By adding 1 line just here, if I want it to run on a TV or a watch, I can instantly add that line and now actually run the same query on a watch target. You write once and actually deploy, and you will get completely different experiences adapted for you automatically. So very rich set of tools. So like that, I will, I'm just about at time. And what I would suggest is go to bixby.developer.samsung.com. download our tools. You've seen you can build a rich, complicated assistant that will answer any questions you might have from different data sources, integrating them. And then you can publish it to a marketplace that will be on hundreds of millions of devices and of different types of devices. So I hope if you're interested in conversational AI and assistants, I think Bixby is really the most out there, interesting platform available. And please get involved. Thank you very much.